On the other side of the city, Romeo Daudet was locked in a dark, filthy room. Thick ropes bound his arms and feet. The only light coming in was through a small hole in the door, just big enough to fit his thumb into. He couldn't remember where he was. There had been a knock on his dressing room door. Then he was blindfolded and what followed seemed a blur. He'd lost track of time. His stomach was rumbling, the damp air was seeping into his bones, and he'd never felt more alone, more frightened in his life. His beautiful purple guitar had been dumped on the floor at his feet. He could see that the strings were broken. He just hoped that no one had done any permanent damage to it. Suddenly he heard keys jangling, a bolt scraped, and the door opened. A man with a nylon stockings put over his head. His face put a bottle of water and a plate of bread on the floor. "Feeling cozy, Romeo?" he snarled, a mocking, rasping voice that seemed to hang in the air as the door slammed shut behind him. Raphael planned the operation. It began when he made a phone call to a costume hire company. "Hello, I need 3 waiters' uniform and 3 housemaids' uniform," the others heard him say. "The kind they wear in hotels. And yes, I need them now," he added. Mars thought he sounded very businesslike. Then he led them through the car park to where the taxis often waited. Raphael always knew exactly where to find a cab. He never traveled by public transport. At the costume hire shop, the 3 boys tried on waiters' uniform while the girls tried on maids' outfit. When everyone had been fitted, Raphael pulled money from his wallet. "Stay in your costume," he told them. "It will save time changing again." They returned to Alvin's headquarters, and while the taxis waited, dropped off their clothes. Cinchita eyed Raphael in awe. "This must be costing you a fortune." "Time is money," Raphael winked. Then Raphael ordered the 2 cabs to take them to the hotel. "I'm not traveling in a bus looking like this," he explained. "I don't want people to think I'm a waiter." The hotel had been mentioned in all the newspaper stories, and when their taxis put into the curb, Alvin gasped in amazement. Huge TV trucks were lined up in the hotel courtyard. Reporters and photographers jostled around the front door. So did hundreds of streaming fans. The hotel doorman, assisted by uniformed police, held them back. Cinchita's shoulders slumped at the sight of so much chaos. "I told you we never get in," she sighed with disappointment. "Ah, but we're staff," Raphael reminded her. "We go in by the staff entrance. That's always round the back." They were halfway across the road when Mars seized his arm. "There's Afiq Nizam from school," she warned, scanning the crowd for familiar faces. "And Diana Grow. Don't let them see us." They darted behind the cover of a slowly rumbling bus, then sprinted down the lane beside the hotel. The staff entrance was located beside the delivery dock. A group of young waiters and maids were sitting around eating snacks. "Won't they know we don't work here?" Azizu asked Raphael. "Leave it to me," he smiled. He walked up to one of the waiters and grinned. "Hi, we are temporary staff. Where do we go?" "You must go. It must be the new staff." The young waiter looked relieved. "You got to go inside for your security pass. But you can have ours. We are temporary staff too, and we are just going off duty." Raphael collected their passes and handed them round to his friends. Looks busy in there, he probed, hoping to find out which rooms the pop stars were in. Neither waiter rolled his eyes. If you get sent to room 4001 or 4002, don't stroll. Romeo's dog, Rafe asked, rolling his eyes too. Thanks for the warning. It's a good name for them too, one of the maids piped up. The one in 4001 is spooky. He doesn't say anything, and that drummer is a real animal. He's in 4002. Who? Frankie? Marge asked her innocently. Frankie, the maid laughed. Even his friends told him that. If their badges slip in place, Rafe led the way inside. So clever, Marge nudged him. Wailing tugged desperately on Alvin's sleeve. My badge name is George, she whispered. They won't let me in. But Alvin just grinned. They'll never notice, and if they do, just tell them it should have been Georgina, and you are very insulted. Wailing hated it when Alvin was in one of his thoughty moods. To make matters worse, he was right. The security man barely glanced at their badges and waved them through. A narrow corridor brought them to a staff elevator, and they piled inside. When they reached the 40th floor, they stepped into a bare concrete service area. It was littered with room service trolleys, cleaning equipment, and bins. Azizu looked round and wrinkled his nose. Yuck, this is the part of a hotel you never see. Quick, grab some stuff so we look like we are working, Rafe told them. The girls grabbed feather dusters and brooms. The boys hunted through a stack of trays loaded with dirty plates and cups. Alvin and Rafe threw old food scraps into a bin and wiped down some plates and cups. Azizu put 2 empty coffee pots on a tray. They pushed open the swing doors leading to the guest rooms and entered another world, drawn where the bare concrete walls, expensive wallpaper transformed the hotel corridor into a palace. Chandeliers twinkled overhead. Their feet sank into the deep carpet. Wailing froze. Policemen were patrolling up and down. Don't stop, Alvin whispered out of the corner of his mouth. We are supposed to be here. We have staff. He boldly walked along and pressed the buzzer outside room 4001. He ignored the policeman who watched him. Wailing and Azizu hurried to join him. Wailing fought to control her nerves. She stared at her feet, holding her feather duster so it covered her name badge. When she looked up, it was straight into the suspicious eyes of a policeman. Are you okay, or do you need dusting? She asked him, hardly believing what she just heard herself say. Alvin was giggling so much that the cups rattled on his tray. Azizu smoked behind his coffee pot. The policeman's eyebrows shot up in surprise. Then he roared with laughter and walked off. Then the door was flung open and Wailing almost fainted. Rotti Dordread, brother of Romeo, the real Rotti of Romeo's dog, whose cute face hung on her bedroom wall, was looking at her with a weary smile. Sergeant Sue entered the hotel's security room a few moments later. Located in the basement, it was a stuffy, dimly lit room where banks of closed-circuit video screens gave him a view of every corridor and entrance. He hadn't slept since Romeo disappeared. He'd been home early to shave and change, horrified at the sight of more gray hairs bristling from his scalp in the mirror. But sleep had been out of the question. Even the police commissioner had phoned him 6 times through the night. He caught the eye of his second in command. "So quiet so far?" he wanted to know. "The hotel is secure, sir," he was told smugly. "A fly couldn't get in or out without us knowing." "We're not looking for flies," growled Sergeant Sue. We've got to find that singer. The whole world is watching us. Just make sure nothing goes wrong." The other man snapped to attention. "Yes, sir." Rocky closed the door behind them and followed them into the room. He ran a hand over his troubled face. His purple hair flowed in tangles over his shoulders. "I don't remember ordering coffee," he began politely. "And the room's okay. It doesn't really need cleaning." Azizu stared in disbelief at the huge bed, the gold lamps, and the beautiful paintings adorning the walls. The massive windows were edged with thick drapes, the color of midnight. He'd only ever seen rooms like this in the movies. Elvin set down his tray and put out his card. "Don't worry, we are just here to help you," he boldly announced. "I am Elvin Soul, and we are going to find your brother." Rocky studied the card. For a moment a strange look creased his face. "You're an investigator?" he asked in surprise. Then he shot a probing look at Wei Ling. "What about you? Are you an investigator too?" he asked her keenly. She smiled nervously and flicked a speck of dust from his bedside lamp with her feather duster. "I am Tan Wei Ling." Rocky seemed to come alive as he spoke to her. "Wow," he grinned, his eyes sparkling. He ran a hand through his long purple hair. "Wei Ling, are all the girls here as pretty as you?" Wei Ling blushed. Azizu swallowed a doodle, and Elvin's jaw dropped in alarm.